Hi everyone. I've been playing around with the new SideFX Labs Vertex Animated Texture 3.0 or VAT 3.0 system that Houdini has. And I wanted to share my first simulation that I brought over into Unreal 5. As a side note, this is the simulation part of this, not the Unreal side, but the actual Houdini simulation. I followed a tutorial, fantastic tutorial series. It's called Applied Houdini. I think the fella's name is Stephen Knipper on cgcircuit.com. Highly recommend that if you're trying to learn more about simulations in Houdini. But here we are in Unreal. After I've brought it in, essentially what we see here is there's 4 different helicopters, and each helicopter is broken up into 2 VAT texture system component parts. The first one is the fuselage and the rotor blades, the deforming pieces, and the second part is the more rigid body parts, the parts that don't bend and deform. And so what we're seeing here, I've turned off autoplay, and I've exposed inside of a blueprint, I've exposed the frame number for the simulation, so we can just kind of use a slider to change what frame we're looking at, and the interpolation between frames is pretty incredible. I rendered this out or I simulated this at 24 frames per second, but when you slow it down, the interpolation between frames makes it really look like you rendered more frames. It really looks like true slow motion simulation. So here I think I'm turning the autoplay back on, and I'm going to start playing around with that actual speed so that we can see what it looks like. So that's full speed. I think I cut it in half right here. So now we're looking at it at half speed, and I believe I kick it all the way down to like 0.1. So we're looking at 10% speed right now, which is pretty incredible. The interpolation, like I said, just does pretty amazing things. I also built into this blueprint a function to explode out all of the different parts. So since there's 4 helicopters, each is made from 2 VATs, you can actually see how they're all working together once I sort of expand them out, and you can take a look at them individually. So here I'm just spreading them out. So on the far left there, you see that's the deforming fuselage and the metal that bends. And just to the right of that, we see all the rigid body pieces that are associated with that first helicopter. And then there's 4 helicopters, so in total there's 8 different VAT textures that are coming across to help, put this whole more complex effect together. The SideFX Labs stuff was surprisingly easy to learn to do. They have some great tutorials up, and they have a Discord, which I have used pretty mightily. It's called Think Procedurally, I think. And the folks on there are really helpful. I submitted some questions and had some back and forth with them, and they were able to help me get this working. So highly recommend that as well if you're trying to get this stuff working and running into any kind of trouble. But that stuff is super cool. I can't wait to use this in more of like a production type of setting, but as a first test, it's very, very promising.